I never deny. Yeah, I told you I would never fold, even in the cold. I never lose my hope, back against the ropes. The sun's flower from the concrete is where I rose. It's just perspective, ain't no location for highs and lows. I can't believe the lie no more, the truth is in my soul. Holy Spirit, hold my pen, I'm writing with a ghost. The war's on, my hands are up, I'm fighting on 10 toes. I ain't come this far, fight this hard to make myself known. And I can't switch sides no more, the focus in the road, yeah. And I'm trying to eat, yeah. My plate garnished with goals. I keep my faith day out and keep subscribing to.
Okay, so good interview. A few interesting nuggets in there, eh? About how they just didn't even check on if anybody was injured or killed. They just wandered in, shot it up, shot at somebody specifically, and then went inside and just said, "Oh, okay." But they didn't check. They didn't even bother to check. They just went inside for whatever reason, I don't know, and then left. Pretty shocking, really shocking. And then, of course, you hear Leather's, I don't know if you can even call that an apology. It's abhorrent. And these people are the people that you're supposed to hold to a higher standard. Oh, my God. They have no shame at all, none. But they can't admit liability. It isn't about a legal liability either, because if you think about it, right, what difference does it make? They work for the same entity that would be paying out the money. Who cares? Nobody cares. But what it is about is that they'll lose contracts. They'll lose power. This is a big one, really big one. The power. So they can't get programs maybe like, I don't know, digging in through your Groupons and your deep dark net and everything, every single thing about you. Everything. And when I'm saying everything, and that's on every Canadian, they're banking it all. These people are really spooky. They have drones for mass surveillance that they won't admit to, but it's kind of the Israeli admission or, denial. It's the not saying yes and not saying no. It's kind of like the girlfriend being in the witness protection, not going to say yes, not going to say no. What is the answer? Oh, well, if we told you that, then it would defeat the purpose of the program. Really? I think you just kind of said yes. Anyways, I'm sorry about the audio if there was an audio problem, but I really do want to thank Sharon for stepping forward, and I really celebrate these people. They're starting to come out more and more. I'm getting contacted by a few people now. It's really amazing, and all I can do is say, please, in your heart, you want the answers for yourself, for those families, for other Canadians, justice, just even the concept of justice and truth. Please, those people aren't going to give it to you. Where was it, Mark Fury, whatever he wants to go by? I don't know. He's into the furries or something, I think. Probably into the furries. Bit spooky, that kind of furry stuff, eh? I'm being a real smartass. That's just me, right? I'm kind of that way sometimes. Let's see here. What was this? Okay, I wanted to go through a couple things too and get your feedback on what you found interesting in that interview. The non-checking of people, the not dealing with anything at the time, like still no outreach to the community at all, really. The fire hall, really. You've got mental health services coming in, but that's nothing to do with the RCMP. Sharon was going to get me the brochure, but hopefully at some point I can get that from her and then show you guys what that's all about. And the other really scary admission there was the oh, balls slipped out of my head. It'll come back to me. How's it going? We got Mark. Mark's in the house. What's up, sir? Volume is better this time. Good. I don't know if they were messing with the stream because it seemed fine when I uploaded it. And my video editing software kind of levels out all the sound, so I don't know what happened there. Yeah, there was one other really bad thing in there. What was it? Not checking on people, just shooting it up unannounced. The people going back to work. If that's true, what is that all about? You just give these people license to open fire on citizens, their own officers. Don't worry about it. No problem here. You can go back to work right away. Sorry? CERT said that they were assigned administrative duties. But Sharon didn't say for sure, but she said she'd heard it, and she's kind of in the know on a few things, which, certain things that she didn't want disclosed, and that's fine. I totally respect that. And that's why I say, if you come and, what's all that? Maybe we're having an event here. Maybe the RCMP will tweet out about a cat. If you come and you give the information to us, one, at least on my end, you can't ever guarantee anything in this tech bumble jumble nonsense in this day and age, but I can totally respect your anonymity. Whatever you share, you want to share, and you're okay with being public, that's okay. I won't share your name or whatever. If you don't want to share details, that's fine. That's fine. If you want to share some details in confidence with me, at least it points me in somewhat in the right direction. I can put some of these pieces together. There are certain things that I am privy to. What is... Must be fireworks? Why would there be fireworks today? You guys hear that? It's crazy, eh? Should I get my cat gif out? Maybe they're coming for me. Sorry, back to that. If you can point me at least somewhat in the right direction, and we can get people here kind of grouped up, family, who's interested in seeing the truth. And again, none of this is about hurting anybody's feelings. I understand that this is very sensitive. As you can see in that interview, I'm really conscious of how sensitive this could be to people. There's a lot of disturbing details, extreme amount of trauma that has been perpetuated on the people of Nova Scotia in general, in fact, Canadians through this event, right? Really, but specifically in Nova Scotia, and the families, obviously, and the people involved with it. You talk about having first responders. Well, how about all the police that were involved, the good, true, upstanding police that really did their duty, the ones that probably crossed that line when they were told not to, went in and saved those kids? Right on, man. Got to celebrate these people, and please come and do the right thing, the good thing, the human thing, and give these people some answers, because they need it. And frankly, all Canadians do, because if you don't stop this train, it's just runaway. It keeps going out of control. We've seen how many of these events, as in, you've got a Marathorpe, or you've got the Picton, or you've got the Moncton, or you've got the Nova Scotia event this time. Many. You could keep going on. There's lists of these things. And the RCMP, this is what I was looking for, was the Fury. I hope I'll find that here in a moment. Thing. Okay. Don't ruin opportunities for justice. Use lawyer. There you go. So the RCMP, this is how poor things have gotten for the RCMP. They've been posting stuff about how to identify a police officer. I mean, this is really, really sad. Really sad. This is, so they cannot in the same sentence say, listen, trust is really important to us, because that's how they answer it. It's an innocuous and obfuscating way of answering question when people say to them, well, what about the trust? What about the damage that has been done to the trust? And they say, well, trust is really important to us. Well, of course it is. Trust is important to everybody. That's an absolute non-starter. Psychological warfare, right? Very carefully written scripts, very carefully written. And that's why they have the same words you hear, like the newspeak, dynamic and fluid, and they come out with all these kinds of different things just to know you, because you're like, well, okay, whatever. This is sick. They're sick people. So in the same sentence, they're saying trust is important, and then they're saying to you, well, listen, if you're ever worried about identifying a car, or somebody, what are you talking about here? I know it was on their official timeline. We'll see if we can go and find that too. And they got some really horrendous feedback. Really horrendous. Same with a lot of the posts that are coming out. So this bullshit that they're spinning, that Canadians are behind them, you can take that one and stuff it. Because seriously, Canadians are not behind these people, and they know it. They are on the full-on defense. They have been since that phone call at 10:01. Probably, I think there was a phone call maybe a little bit earlier. But as soon as they got that phone call, they knew it's Gabe. It's that Gabe guy. He has the cars, he has guns, and he's gone off. What are we going to do? Oh, shit. It's all going to start to come out, and then it's damage control, war room tactics that they use. So it isn't like, oh, they made some mistakes or this or that. Trust me. Trust me on this one. It's transparent as all get out. Exactly what they did. The use of the Twitter, the no use of any other police forces, the heavy redactions in the warrants, the even smurfing that they're doing by sowing out disinformation. And this is actually, trust me, it's in the Discord. So be very careful how they try to get you off and fuck with your head. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to it. Go with your gut. Go with facts. Go with you can sure, some speculation is fine. Don't go too far off the track. Stay with what did you do wrong? And what they did wrong that day, I mean, where does the list start? Where does the list start? You had officers that were a dereliction of duty. Now we have reports of another person being shot, another officer being shot. Where's this coming from? No mention of this person. You have warrants that are redacted. I feel terrible for everybody involved. I feel really badly for Heidi Stevenson's family. And I know probably, if they're fully indoctrinated into that stuff, they're going to be like, well, okay, damn you, Seamus, you're just a shit disturber and you want to hurt people's feelings. No, I don't. I feel really terrible for you because your family is being used as a shield. This is the PR campaign. The war room of the carefully scripted stuff. That was why hero, hero, hero. Listen to any of the press conferences, any of the things that were ever said. Lucky gets on there right away and she starts going on about, oh, we lost one of our own, the family. You know, why is that? Because in your heart, right, you're going to say, well, I feel really badly. I don't want to ask you a question because look at all the pain that you're going through. Well, that doesn't change the fact that you did a lot of things wrong. A lot of things. How did Mr. Wortman, if you just go with that night, how did he get out of there? All of the deaths after their response is on them. At the bare minimum, if we're just going with real simple stuff here, no rocket science, no tinfoil, nothing. Just, you made a lot of mistakes. You let that guy out. Ooh, oops. And then he was running amok. Then you didn't involve other police forces when they volunteered their services. You didn't use the emergency broadcast, so you place citizens at risk. And, you know, this business that they play dumb. No. What was it they were using the emergency broadcast for? I heard something about possibly they used it for the dog attack, which is, of course, horrific. But, I mean, there was a lady, I recorded that, where she said, you know, why couldn't they have used the alert for a gunman wandering around shooting, burning people alive? It's honestly, it's just a mind shift, slightly. And it's a dark place to go, but it's true. It isn't mistakes. It isn't wondering, you know, no. This was intentional. This one's hard. I understand it, because you don't want to believe things about people. You want to believe the good in all people. This is what has screwed us all over the place in our world, right? Because you want to believe the goodness in people. Well, the simple fact is there is evil out there. And that isn't to say, obviously, that all the RCMP are evil or any of this stuff. No, there's good people in there, but they're scared to death. Look at how little comes out of Nova Scotia. I'll tell you, there's all of you, right, working hard. This is what I do all day, every day, right? And there's, you know, Steve's working hard on it. Ozzy's working hard on it. Adrian's been working hard on it. Lots of people putting in serious effort here. Kage has been put in lots of serious effort into it. And what are we up to now? It's always nice to see this community growing, right? Now we're up to, where am I at? Something like that. I'm going to do this, right? Ooh, where are we at? 1,242 people. Pretty amazing. 142 people digging away, and you got thousands over on Facebook. You know, we're just getting connected with those people, which is good. I'm really glad, because this is just another outlet, and hopefully we can get. It's just amalgamating and allying ourselves all together, right? It's not anybody's a superhero in any of this, or they're the star. No. This is, we're all equal, and we're all doing the same thing because we want truth, and we're not going to get it from the RCMP. You're not going to get it. You won't. And this is the intent. This is where that little thing needs to go. So if you gamble on, oh, there'll be a public inquiry, and oh, they're going to want to tell you the truth. No, there was never an intent. This is certifiable. You can take it to the bank. Look at how nobody has gotten charged. They know where the uniforms came from, the badge, right? The decals on the car? Nobody's getting charged? Really? Does that sound logical to you? If it was you, do you think that you're going to get charged if you're running around with a police uniform? No, you're going to get charged. You're going to get charged, most certainly. They do it all the time. They do it all the time. But you see, they know this is why they do that. It's very calculated, strategic. I think strategically. So I understand what they're doing. Don't charge anybody, because if you charge somebody, then that means that they're going to be a lawyer, and the defense lawyer is going to start probing deep. He's going to start subpoenaing people, and in discovery, he is going to depose people, and he's going to ask a lot of questions, and a lot of shit is going to start to come out. Very intentional. Very intentional. So blindly, like Stevie Wonder. Didn't like what I heard. I hope you didn't. I hope you didn't stab yourself. That's no good. So it is that switch. I know the questions always come back to why. Why? Because that's your heart talking. Why would you do that? That's not nice. You don't. Of course, it's malicious. Why would they make all these mistakes? Why wouldn't they call in Amherst or Truro? Why wouldn't they use the emergency broadcast? Why did they use Twitter? Turn that switch. Intent. Because word go. Uh-oh. We're dealing with Gabe. And Gabe's gone off the rails. And I think there is a very high likelihood, and I played for you the show that I did with Mike Phillip, and that was the 21st, the 21st, I believe that show was done. So 2 days later, and I said, cop, you don't have a cop car, you don't have cop uniform. At that time, it was, and I only knew about 2 cars, but what is going on over here? It is fireworks. I don't know why we're having fireworks. You don't have a person who skates on all this stuff, who gets let go, who has a shotgun in a robbery. And the police respond, and he has an illegal weapon. And they just like, oh, damn you, Gabe. What did you do? That's what his dad said. That's what his dad said. His dad. You know, this is not somebody who's probably wants to be known. CBC, of course, did an interview with this man. Did you hear it? Did you ever hear it? Crickets. Like the CTV interviews with the witness. Crickets. Like the Clinton Ellison scrubbing. Crickets. Like the scrubbing on the global broadcast of the press conference on how Mr. Wortman got out. All kinds of lots of funny stuff going on from the press. Because the press does want to play and makes look like they're doing something. But I'll tell you, some of the legal moves that they've made down at this warrant, how to get some of this stuff for it. I'm like, what the? I know how to deal with that one. Simple. Start pointing out. I got the questions. I'm not a legal scholar by any stretch. I know. Yet they don't ask them. I think it's mostly a facade. And I think that's what Paul Plango was saying the other day. The answers aren't necessarily going to come from the press. They're going to come from you, me, and everybody else, right? Crickets. Hello, Tanya. I haven't seen you before. Welcome. Everybody can welcome Tanya. So, it's that switch. And I understand it's a difficult one. It is a difficult one because who wants to see that horror facing you? Oh my goodness. You mean there are people who have malintent against me, against my fellow citizens? They don't care. That just doesn't make sense. They're sworn to protect. Well, no. They don't care. How many women died because of the Picton nonsense? And Campbell's own ex-wife came out and said, well, you know what? I'm going to testify against my very own organization, against the RCMP. What happened to her? Good things? You think good things happened to her? Several weeks ago, just passing. Oh, well, welcome again. It's always good to have a new or a returnee. How's that? We like our friends here who are seeking the truth, for the families. And again, I state, this is not about hurting anybody's feelings. This is about thinking future here, because it's that old adage that, and then they came for me. And I don't know if anybody else is familiar with that, but it's an interesting one. It's got rewritten by many different people into different things. But it's not in my backyard. I don't need to worry about it. Well, that is the thinking that has got us into all kinds of difficulty. Me. The people in Nova Scotia, to me, are, and yes, I do have a friend. So that you could say, oh, well, it's just because you have a friend. No, I was doing this shit years ago, on all kinds of things that I have no personal tie to. But because it's my belief, this is so important to me. This is actually what I have devoted my, and no, I'm not living off any taxpayer dollars, welfare. I think somebody tried to infer that my girlfriend takes care of me. I'm like, really? Very interesting. I think you could ask her who takes care of who. She takes care of herself pretty well, but it's not like I've ever mooch off her. So, and I've never taken, wait a second. I got GST checks, right? And then I think I got something else one time. Oh, no, I didn't. No, because I'm like, you know what? This country doesn't need debt, and I can take care of myself. I'm never going to take money unless I really needed it, but I'm going to be, busting my ass before I'm going to be doing that. But if we think outside of ourselves, right? And it's not like, oh, what can I get? Or it's not happening to me. And I'm not saying that anybody here is thinking like that, but think more, think higher, more and above and beyond, right? And think about those people in Nova Scotia. If that was your family, how would you feel with this shenanigans going on where they're not going to tell you anything? Nothing. Has anybody seen the lengthy interview that Campbell did with CBC? The one that, we sat around for hours waiting one day? Families sat around waiting. 3 days later, they're like, well, maybe it'll be on Monday. But CBC is going to maybe they sent form letters to all the family. They made them look personal, but they were all the same. Disgusting. Oh, we're thinking of you. No, thinking of you, my ass. Thinking of yourself. And it's not about a legal liability thing. It's not about that, because they have pockets as deep as all get out because they're your pockets. So they can spend your money all they want. Oh, yeah, okay, fine. $200 million settlement over there? No problem. It's much, much more insidious than that. And that's why they're hiding. They're hiding. People may have been killed by them. That might have happened. Have we said that before? For a long time? Maybe they kill one of their own. Been saying that for a long time? How about the fact that he might be a police officer? Been saying that for a long time? How about the Mr. Big? Been saying that for a long time? Go back very early on. Like, seriously. If you re-listen to the shows, in hindsight now, you can see it. I'm saying that shit, right? And so, and the RCMP won't come out and answer any of these. And I mean, hell, if they really wanted to, they could pursue a liable case against me, potentially. Not that, and I am on their radar, most certainly. Not to be self-important, but this stuff here that we're doing does get their attention. It gets the attention of a lot of people. Right? Palango knows. I haven't spoken to him. He has asked that I call, apparently. I just haven't phoned yet. Rick Howe, there are people know. Globe and Mail knew. So that kind of stuff is making waves. We're making waves. We're making a difference. And that's because good people are stepping up and they're like, either I saw something and Christ almighty, I wouldn't want that to happen to me. And those people must feel atrocious, and my heart is going out to them. Or all the good people here and over on the Facebook, they're doing that too. The thousands digging through stuff all the time, taking their time. They could be off, I don't know, water skiing or doing something else, but they're not. Because they know, listen, it could happen to me. I don't want it to happen to me. And if it did happen to me, I sure as shit would want somebody to be there doing it for me. Right? Smart thinking. And they're also thinking, some people are thinking much longer term and much broader scale. If you can take these people on and give them a little spanking, get back in line. It has sadly much other places it's going to go long term, but it's a start, right? And that's what's important. Plus, it brings out the goodness in people, and the goodness has come out, right? You all here. I don't know what was posted there. Sorry. Was there something posted that wasn't supposed to be posted? I don't know. I missed that. If somebody in the mod feels that something needed to be deleted, please delete it. But don't censor. Don't censor. Seamus not being uncensored. Because sometimes somebody says something and it might sound a bit off the wall, or, and it might actually be right. Plus, if it's wrong, then you always can be able to build up a defense. That's always my way of thinking. I'm always like, what kind of things would they ever do? But they would never come and pursue a liable case, I highly suspect, because if they did something like that, well, guess what happens? I have a lawyer. I've got a list of questions, very long, that I want to ask certain people. And I depose them all because I get that's a viable defense for a libel case. If I say, oh, I believe that you may have shot one of your own people. Well, I get to call witnesses to dispute that. And yes, they do have a record of lying, which is kind of sad, some of them. But, again, the truth will win. It will prevail. You want it back on? Sorry? I missed. You should censor the last mistake in the interview. What was my last mistake? I apologize. What mistake did I make? I said the RCMP accidentally instead of the Halifax PD. But I'm not sure what else I said. Did I miss something here? I'm feeling like I'm missing something. I don't know what I missed. If I make a mistake, I am human. I'm sorry. I do have a lot of information I have to keep in my head because, funnily enough, this is very small potatoes for me. Very small. But it's easy. It's easier work to do because it's not having to tie as many things together. But pretty interesting. She wants to. You want me to take the whole interview down? Witnesses shouldn't be talking publicly. She signed a witness statement. You can ask her that. She spoke to the RCMP. She didn't sign any statement, to the best of my knowledge, and nothing legally precludes a person from speaking. So you're perfectly within your right to speak in this country legally. Anybody who if we're working in Gestapo land, which some people down in are getting that from the RCMP, as in we're gonna coerce you. That's going around. I've seen it with my own eyes. Now that's coercion. That's different. There's nothing that precludes her from speaking. Zero. Because then you would say, well, what about the other lady who spoke to CBC, Global, National Post? Who else did she speak to? She spoke. Should they take all those papers down? She's fine. She understands. Listen, little Miss So, I'm all over it like white on rice. I assure you, don't try and tell me how to do it. I got it. Okay. She got to see the interview. She got to screen it, all of it before. I did change a couple of things, but I don't think there's anything major that she would be opposed to. It was nothing to do with her statement or anything like that. There was a couple of things that I changed graphically. That was about it. But her statement was her statement. And she saw the intro. There was a couple of things that I did add in there, but they're pretty small. And she asked me to remove 2 pieces. That's why you saw some things clipped there. And we discussed some things afterwards, but that I won't speak of publicly. But she, to the best of my knowledge, if she comes forward and says to me, listen, I don't want that now, I'll take it down. But she's fine with it. In fact, I think she actually even sent me a message today Let's see. What did she say? Well, this isn't. Oh yeah, actually, you can see the talk. See, it says share. Have a great weekend. No problem. I don't know what's going on over here. Craziness. Crazy. Just crazy. So I also wanted to have a look at that Mark Furry. Here we go. This one. This is good. Telling you, you're never going to see it. If you do, it becomes something else. They want to have something else that's not legal, that's not binding. They can play their own rules because remember, they can lie anywhere. Let's have a read through this article. Hopefully my eyes aren't too bad. CBC, quote, legalities and technicalities delay announcement of Nova Scotia mass killing inquiry, Justice Minister. Oh, does he look like an RCMP? That's because he is. I'm in the toilet. Well, I hope not. That would mean somebody's going to flush. These circumstances that are taking much more time than I anticipated, says Mark Furry. Really? Shocking. The joke's on you, Jack. Seriously, being us. They're just laughing. You know that. In their war room, anticipating what's going to happen. That's why the interview never got shown. And you got the little CBC blurb. Lengthy interview. And then the RCMP stall tactics on why it was never, it was going to be on the Monday. And then all that came out was a press article. But all of those families had to sit and wait. Are you going to give us answers? You told us you're going to give us answers. Oh, tomorrow. Oh, Monday. Oh, we're not going to give it to you. Mark Furry. Nova Scotia Justice Minister Mark Furry said legal teams are reviewing, finalizing, and drafting the compilation of relevant documents for the public inquiry into the mass killing that left 22 victims dead. Do you know how difficult it is to have an inquiry? Do you know how difficult it is? Not real difficult. Party in power. There you go. We're having a public inquiry. Bing. Remember, who was that? Well, they fought away on the what was his name? No, it's not coming to mind. But, if they want it, they'll have it. No problem. Nova Scotia Justice Minister Mark Furry said an announcement about a public inquiry to a mass killing April 22nd is expected sometime this month. Oh, Stampede fireworks. That's what it is. Oh, yes. The Kovu, but you're going to get the fireworks. Anyways, back to the important things. Quote, it's absolutely important we get this right. Is that like they've got the press conference right? Where they had to get their details exactly right? And now they're getting sued for them? Because they told a bit of a fib? Even with their hardly releasing any details? They told a bit of a fib? Oops. And with all their lawyers going over all of their scripts, they still told a bit of a fib. And now they're getting sued by most of the families. That would show to me that they're not too happy. Hit us, my man. What's up, birdie? No stampede, just fireworks and witchcrafts. Yeah. Lots of fireworks over here. Let's see. Can you guys see this? I don't know. Blow it up. Be nice and big. I got bad eyes anyways. Quote, it's absolutely important that we get this right. I'm not going to commit myself to a timeline. I'm not going to commit myself to a timeline. Do you know his timeline? That was the mistake I made a couple of weeks ago. Actually, that was, I believe, 3.5 weeks ago. But who's counting? Not realizing the legalities around some of this work. I understand the law. Yeah, somewhat. Better than an average layperson, let's say. No. That's a bunch of bullshit. Not realizing the legalities around some of this work, but with confidence, certainly this month, I think that you could probably put about as much faith into that as the CBC interview with Darren Campbell. Oh, most certainly it's going to come out. Oh, it's going to come out. We promise. Oh. Sorry, it must have gone. We destroy those after a day. Remember? Everything gets destroyed. Convenient. Whatever works and best in their favor. Furry told reporters during a phone conference on Thursday. That's good. At least he did a phone conference. This is a bit better than just having written statements. Fury, furries, I don't know. I want it just to have a little jab. Public figure, you can do it. Furries. Let's see here. What do you call that? Fetish. Furries. You guys know what furries are? These are furries. Oh, who's this? Oh my. Whew. There you go. This is the kind of furry stuff. There you go. You can kind of see it on your screen. Won't get into it too much because don't want to get banned. Furry. A former Mountie. Surprise. Said legalities and technicalities. Because, you know, the RCMP do real well with the law. Related to the investigation were taking longer than he anticipated, but he declined to elaborate on exactly what he meant. Yeah. You see a lot of more? Here's some more bullshit. You can highlight the bullshit. It's actually going to be probably about 90% of the article. Quote, these circumstances are taking much more on time than I anticipated, Furry said. He said legal teams are reviewing, finalizing, and drafting a compilation of relevant documents. Before the public announcement is made, Furry said families of victims April 18th and 19th will be told first. I would hold that right up with the written emails, which I've seen, I have copies of, that say, we're not really going to answer anything that you want to know, you can refer to the press conference. And beyond that, well, sorry about that. That's about what the families get. The families are getting really shafted here. I'm telling you. Like, I understand you're maybe not privy to some of those things, but they're really getting shafted. Like, bad. If it was your mom or your sister or your dad, or your child, in this case, that's just the whole family. But child. Yeah, sure. Grandparents, right? Parents. Do you think you'd want to have some answers? Oh, but we have to do some finalizing, and we've got to, play with our balls. Maybe sniff our fingers some. Really give you the screw around, because that's what we do. Because it's real important. Oh, here we go. Got the Heidi Stevenson hero uniform out. The Heidi Stevenson hero. That poor Heidi Stevenson's family. I feel real bad. If they aren't awake to what's happening to their loved one. Woo! They should be asking questions about how she died, maybe. They probably are. I have a suspicion. Furry previously said the province would be working with the federal government on the inquiry, saying the federal government is in the best position to lead it. Of course, this is... Who's the RCMP's employer again? Oh, do you see a slight conflict of interest here? My sarcasm is really heavy because I find it difficult because I don't think people quite see how malicious this is, how evil, how much you're getting screwed. Intentionally, all the time here. You're thinking, oh, okay, well, yeah, it'll come. Listen to what he's going to say about the public inquiry, because the public inquiry actually does have some powers. They're pretty shitty, general. And the RCMP has fucked them over before, several times. But they do have some power. Let's see what he says. Let's see. Remember I said he wasn't going to have a full public inquiry? There was never going to be one. But if he did, he was going to do something funny. Oh, look what he's going to do. Meanwhile, a proposed class action lawsuit against the RCMP from two families is handling on the rampage and actions in the weeks that followed has been launched. Now, this I don't believe to be true because I've read most families. I'm just going by what I'd read. I'd read most families. I had read the two families, that's the Blairs and the O'Briens are suing. However, and Tyler Blair, God love that man. Jesus, what a hero. What a hero. Little boys should look up to that guy a lot because he really stepped up to the plate. But I don't think two families is correct. I think there's more that have signed on than two. 1 month after the mass killing, Nova Scotia law professors called for the premier to launch an inquiry. Family members are also calling for an inquiry. What's on the whiteboard? Diagrams. Nothing special. Well, nothing special. Nothing you don't know, Mr. Moneypenny. A large public frustration. Archie Kaiser, a professor at law at the Schulitz? Okay, I'm not going to touch that. Schulitz School of Law at Dalhousie University said he doesn't understand why Furry isn't delving into what exactly is holding up the process. This is because he doesn't understand. This is that mindset I was talking about. He doesn't understand that his RCMP is shit from the top on down. The people on the front lines, there's probably some really good ones, but I'll tell you, they get the fucking shaft. All you have to do is look at Campbell's ex-wife. Or the how many thousands of women or people. I've read many cases now of people. I should do a video just on cases of people the RCMP have shafted. They're getting sued right now from one of their members out in Vancouver, I believe. for a taser incident where he's like, you guys completely threw me under the bus. Thanks for, I'm glad I signed up for this. Like, no support. Another good value to teach kids, you know. Listen, we'll support you if you support us, but if you say or do anything that's kind of wrong or whatever, we're not going to support you. But not only will we not support you, we'll call you an alcoholic. We'll say that you're crazy, you have PTSD, all kinds of other things. You did the job incompetently. Lots of women. Nice. We have things as whistleblower. We do have some whistleblower stuff here in this country. Doesn't help. Not in this case. So this is why Archie Kaiser has a problem, because he doesn't understand. You have to shift the mentality. Shift it just a little bit. It's like putting on a pair of glasses. You know, what was that movie with Roddy Piper? Everybody always samples that stuff. Put on the glasses. Obey. Right? Just shift it a little bit. Put the glasses on, then you can see. You can see what's happening. Then it makes sense. It's not, oh, I don't understand. Oh, they're screwing me again. Quote, clearly, there's large public frustration with the delays in fully committing to and establishing a public inquiry. And frankly, it's somewhat condescending to the members of the public that somehow or other they could not understand the legalities or technicalities. This is coming from a law professor. Well, what is Mark Furry's? Did he actually ever become a lawyer? Sorry, Mark Furry. Oh, the honorable, very honorable, with his technicalities. New. He's just a cop. So a zero, you see this one? A big fat, a zero in legal knowledge, a zero. And he's butting heads with a professor of law who kind of understands stuff. And the professor of law is referring to it as somewhat condescending. He's got the glasses on. He's seeing like, you know, these guys wouldn't do something wrong. No, rose-colored glasses. Bird. Quote, so I would prefer a more open process, and the minister saying exactly what the difficulties he's experiencing are with respect to setting up the inquiry. I think the public could not only understand, but may well be able to make a valuable contribution in assisting the member in finding a process that will suit the public's needs. You don't ever want to say that. Yes, they live. Thank you, Heather. Thank you. Already got a little bit in there about we'll just make something special for this one. We'll make a big fancy new thing, you know, because that public inquiry thing, well, it has too much powers. So we'll just invent something if we're ever going to do anything, which they won't. But the seed is already sown. All Canadians want to know what went wrong, said a senator. Earlier this week, 5 Nova Scotia senators said an inquiry has to happen soon to stave off speculation. Oh, because you know, those crazy people out there. Oh, their families died, you know, their friends died, their coworkers died. They just read the news. They look at it and they're like, this is complete bullshit. Oh, those people, you know, they're just speculating. Well, who causes the speculation, first of all? Which is, again, very, very intentional. Because they want to leave you grasping. Just like the interview, Sharon said, who knows? They want to fuck you over. On Thursday, Senator Mary Coyle said she's happy to hear an announcement is coming. She said families deserve answers and deserve to know first. Families know nothing. This is where we're at. Quote, we hope it isn't too many more days or weeks, even understanding there are complexities. See, they just want to throw you all kinds of garbage. No, it's not complex. You just call it. There you go. You go and appoint somebody, a justice, and you'll get a bunch of lawyers that'll get involved, and there you go. We're all ready to go. Doesn't take too long. And wanting to get it right. You hear the RCMP? They always said that too. We want to get it right, so we can't tell you anything. We just can't tell you anything because we want to get it right. No, you already fucked it up, so we know you have it wrong. But the families of the victims, those of us who live in Nova Scotia, and frankly, all Canadians, want to know what went wrong here. I think she's trying to win brownie points. Do you think? Maybe? She said there are so many questions remaining, including why did the shooting happen? How were reports of domestic assaults involving the gunman handled? How did the gunman get the weapons he used? Weapons he used. No autopsies. Families, all of them denied. That's against the law, by the way. RCMP just broke the law there, to the best of my understanding. Fatal Injuries Act, Nova Scotia. Family member demands, once an autopsy has been completed, demands a full autopsy written. They get it all. Toxicology, all of it. Ballistics, that would be included in there. Because there'd be bullets in there, right? From that bullet, you'd be able to tell what caliber it is, potentially what weapon is being used because of the rifling. Yeah. But you see, I think, like we've been saying for a long time, this one, they don't want people to know about the guns. It might happen to be RCMP issue weapons. Ooh, that's a problem. Why was the emergency alert not used? Again, these are questions. You're not wearing the correct glasses. It was strategic. It was tactical. It was intentional. Do not use the emergency alert. Use the Twitter. Nobody will know. Perhaps we can bury this down in Portapic. We can get rid of all the cop cars. All of it. Maybe nobody will ever figure it out. You can follow the timeline in the Twitter feed because that's when they start to come out, is when they realize he's out. And they're like, oh shit, now we've got a problem. He's driving around in a cop car and people are going to know. Uh-oh, what do we do? What do we do? Okay, well, you can say who it was because, yes, we did find out at about 10:30 exactly who it was. We did know that he was shooting people and burning homes up right away, but we just have a cat. The cat. Did I show the cat gif? Did I show it? I love that. It's archived, by the way, RCMP. RCMP, I archive all your shit. Ooh! I love it. I download it. Everybody here, please do that. I love it. I've seen some articles that I know for sure I haven't viewed, and somebody's archived them. Right on, brothers and sisters, right on. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Let's see if we can find that Tweety Twatter Tweeties. Where did I have that? Oh, found out some interesting names today. I'm going to forget them, though. That's not good. Not good at all. Let's see if I can find the Tweeties. My memory's so bad. See, I know there's 2 or 3 I've forgotten today. Library. History. Here we go. See this tweet? Oh, it's going to move. There we go. There we go. See, if you woke up and there was homes burning, that's why I did that on that intro. If there's homes burning and shooting going on all around you, it's like a fucking war zone. People are screaming, death everywhere, dead bodies on the road, people running in the forest, terrified, cars flying up and down the road, a car, burning down homes in RCMP cars with RCMP uniforms, with RCMP issue weapons, almost assuredly. This is what you saw with the Tweety Twatters, the thing that they used for damage control. Okay, we won't tell anybody. We'll just use that. So first they didn't want to even say anything. So we'd just have this one. This was on for an hour while all that was going on. Oh, look. Kitty cat. Did anybody respond to this? Oh, yeah. Good. We got... See, they just go after the... And this is not meant in any way, shape, or form. Not meant at all in an insulting way. It's not. Males generally have carnal, more logical mind. Generally, females have more emotional minds. This is why they're wonderful mothers, right? If you operate too much in one spectrum or the other, it's a problem. Using cats and kids is very important in this world because it manipulates you. It's psychological warfare, right? You know, you get the kitties, kitty catters, Kathy's responding with kitties, and Mary's responding, and Kim, and Mary, okay? And this is what RCMP does. Why? Because they don't want you really looking at the Kovu nonsense, but they do it for an hour. You know, I digress. For an hour. Do you know how many people died while this cat was rolling around? And the RCMP knew about it. They were right there with their very superior leather, very satisfied with the Tweety Twatters. Tweety Twatter obfuscating and covering his ass and his department's ass. Lucky made that decision, right? They would have called her. Oh my God, what the fuck is going on? Just leave the kitty cat on there. Nobody will know. We'll get rid of those cars. Just like they got rid of the houses afterwards. We'll get the bulldozer in there too. We'll get rid of all that. Okay, get that memorial down. We don't want people to think about that. Oh yeah, because of our awesome investigation. Think about this one. This one I can tell you is a new little piece. I always have little pieces, right? Do you know how long it took to clean up the Shuby investigation? The initial one? With a dead officer, no less. So it's one of their own family. Do you know how long it took them to investigate that? Want to take a guess? I'll tell you, it's less than 24 hours. They came back and did some combing and cleaning up in the gully. But do you know how long the actual investigation took? You guys watch CSI, right? It's a little bit longer than 8. But yeah, 13 hours. It was finished sometime between 2 and 3 in the morning. That's fucking horrendous, man. And you know that they can't do any investigating in 13 hours. That was a massive crime scene. There was evidence all over the place. You've got multiple vehicles involved. You've got shell casings out the wazoo. You've got cars burning up. You have to do an accident reconstruction. All of it. Oh, no. One might want to look in the back, supposedly the back of one of those police cars that got towed away. Because the car wasn't empty. Because they're very compassionate. They did such a thorough job, remember? They got to do a thorough job investigating. Got to get it all right. Like Furry says. Furry with his bullshit lines, they just spin them out. This is psychological warfare, people. Please recognize it. It happens all over the place. Your politicians do it. They don't work for you. They've got much bigger bosses that they all work for. This is why it's the same all across the developed world. Right? Countries aren't independent because they have the same boss. Now, what's in the back of the car? 13 hours. Oh dear, anybody who's not subscribed to Oh dear's channel, is Oh dear a mod? What's wrong with me? Here, mod you. There you go. Now you have a wrench. Now you can put in the link to your channel, which I hope you do, because people should go and watch your videos. Because, frankly, my videos take forever, and even though I have 17,000 videos actually like on the back burner that are videos, not live streams, Oh dear's got them done, and they're pretty good, like really good. And I wish I'd found their channel a long time before I did, because it would have saved me some footwork. Because they knew about the times. They had sent to me some information. Very good. Very good detective work. Don't they even use drones? There we go. That's a good question. They won't answer that one. The mass surveillance drones. They got all the toys, but they can't find their ass from a hole in the wall. Or they want you to believe that. They didn't care. They never cared. So please link your channel if you don't mind. Oh dear, I would really appreciate it. If not, I'll do it for you. But great channel. Great videos. And very knowledgeable. So let's go back to Mark. Fury, non-lawyer. I wonder if he has a high school education. Do you think he has a high school education? Didn't even they're supposed to, yes, supposed to able to do the accident reconstruction. No, they do that one 2.5 months later. Don't you know? Because they did such a thorough job investigating the first time. That's why they're back out there investigating. Because people over here are like, no, what you're saying, physics isn't possible. What you're saying doesn't add up. There's no damage. Only damage could potentially be on the passenger side, right? I remember reviewing all this shit with Kage and everybody. Same with the push bars and all that stuff. Thank you. Thank you, oh dear. Please go sub to this person's channel. Right on. Right on. Good stuff. Oh, you're viewing as a subscriber. You're viewing your own channel. I think the link works, though. Let's see. Let me click on the link. There you go. It does work. Awesome. So let's have a little boo at their channel. Great stuff here. And they're very concerned, just like all of us, about getting the right story. And so please, I encourage you, sub. Very good stuff. I like to encourage people to work, we're all working together for the same thing. Okay, so now, kitty cat, right? Maybe that's a furry. Is that a furry? Maybe he's into the cats too. I don't know. Oof. Okay. There's so much speculation, and the longer that we wait for that formal announcement of the joint inquiry, the more speculation will be out there. And that's not a healthy thing. That's not a good thing. But you know what? That's a very good thing for the RCMP. They want you to have as much speculation as possible. And then they throw in stuff like Smurfs, who throw you a little bit of disinformation and get you all fucked up. They get you off the track. They have people. It's not tinfoil. It's 100% real. It's very, very common for police forces, intelligence units. RCMP is very much an intelligence unit. Worldwide. Very powerful. Very powerful. More secretive than CSIS. More secretive than CSE. And most people don't even know what CSE is. So, there you go. Now, he also has spoken of the hybrid. Let's see if we can find that. The hybrid inquiry. Mark Furry. See what they do? This is what happens. Joint inquiry or review. Because we'll just make the rules up as we go. It's not very important. Good night, good night. Good night, Ozzy. Thanks ever so much. Good to see you. Working really hard, Ozzy is. Just as everybody, I don't want to single anybody out because everybody's working so hard. There will be a joint federal provincial inquiry or review into the mass killing in April that claimed 22 lives. But the exact form of that investigation is still taking shape. According to who? Oh, that's right. The maybe high school graduate Justice Minister. Whose? What? What was that? RCMP. With the RCMP. From the RCMP. With the RCMP. Mark Furry said the probe must have certain features, including judicial leadership, the power to compel witnesses to testify, and the ability to make binding recommendations. Do you know what? We had something like that. Not that I believe in it at all. But you know what it's called? It's called a public inquiry. You don't need to go and make up anything new, so that you can circumnavigate your lying to the public stuff. You can lie in this because it's not really a legal thing. So we can lie in it. We can just make up things. Because according to our handbook, it's okay. Just like it's okay to lie to you, to me, to everybody, to families. Yeah, we'll have that interview. Don't worry about it. Yeah, there's going to be that. Well, we're working really hard on that. No, you're not. Well, it takes months, and we're doing a very thorough job. No, you're not. Like, honestly, if I was to sit down and have a conversation with one of these people, it'd be very, very interesting to have. Because they would spit their psychological warfare bullshit on me, and I'd be like, no, absolutely, you're not. No, that's not true, and you know that to be a lie. And here's why. Proof. How do you answer to that? Well, it's very fluid and it's very dynamic and it's going to take us time. And I wasn't aware of those details. So I have to go back and I have to study those. We have to take that to our lawyers and we have to review it. And we've got to write a script. And we'll get back to you in a paper email sometime, maybe next 1,000 years. Next millennia. Don't worry about it. Yeah, see, this is already there. You don't need special lawyers. You don't need anything significant. No. You already have it. Public inquiry does have some legal binding powers. But, I mean, like I said, please review the Don Dunphy case. It's very, very telling, the testimony. The testimony of the RCMP witness is very telling. The justice that oversaw it, dead man tell no tales, very telling. And the coroner photographer who said that there's planted evidence, very telling. Nobody got charged. I wonder whatever happened to Smythe. He's actually facing, let's see, Constable Smythe. He was in a bunch of other problems too. Obstruction. This is actually to do with his trial, or sorry, the inquiry. Let's see what it has to say. Witnesses tell of obstruction of justice trial. Joe Smythe, very angry, and I could see his gun. Well, this is good. Here he is, this fellow. Excellent police officer. Shoots people on Easter Sunday for tweets 4 times. The last one blows his head off, the top of his head. Pretty awesome. Close range, no weapon. Oh, wait, sorry. They did recover a weapon that nobody had ever seen before, and not even the coroner had seen some of the way that the room was set up. That the gun was actually then sitting on a big, huge tote box, and she's like, I wouldn't be able to step over that. That's new. That's put there. RNC officer has been suspended without pay. Oh, goody. Oh, goody. Maybe this is, that's actually one step closer to real justice. Because the fire hall people, well, they just go back to work. And according, again, that's not validated, but seems to be from good sources. Those officers are back on the street. Unannounced shooting, didn't care about anybody if they lived or died or were injured. Shot at survivors of the Portapique incident. Left the scene immediately. Really looking bad. Wow. One day people will see these things, I think, and they're going to be, those guys were onto something over there. RNC suspended without pay since July for his alleged handling of a traffic stop. The trial of Royal Newfoundland Constabulary officer Joe Smythe, accused of obstructing justice on a traffic stop, got underway Monday, with motorcycle drivers criticizing Smythe as rude and unprofessional during the May 2017 incident. Syed Husseini, who lives in St. John's, testified in St. John's courtroom that Smythe pulled him over and said that a month earlier someone had evaded a police on the motorcycle that Husseini was driving. Smythe said, quote, "Park because we are going to have a long conversation," Husseini said. He was very angry and I could see his gun. Here we have a tweet. Smythe was the subject of a judicial inquiry called over how he fatally shot injured worker Don Dunphy in 2015 in Mitchell's Brook. Husseini told the court Smythe said that he was going to give him every ticket possible. Smythe issued 4 tickets to Husseini, May 12th, 2017 incident, running a red, passing between cars, illegal lane change, driving without defective tire. Husseini testified that he had a GoPro on his camera, and when he reviewed the footage, he had not run the red. He then decided to fight the tickets. Ultimately, the tickets against Husseini were dropped. Oh, so he's making up evidence. Good. Very good. The Crown is now pursuing a charge of obstruction against Smythe. Very good. The GoPro video footage was played in court on Monday and shows traffic light was green when Husseini drove through it. Smythe's lawyer, Jerome Kennedy, said Smythe, after seeing the tape, doesn't dispute the light was green, doesn't dispute the light was green, doesn't dispute the light was green, and he made a mistake issuing the tickets. The trial was expected to last 3 days. Witness, defense lawyer, the SPAR. Okay, so he's also got into some other difficulties before too. And when he's on at the inquiries, very interesting to watch him testify. Slimy. And that's the higher level standard. That's the one that you want your kids to look up to, like the RCMP, with the RCMP, like the RCMP. Okay. Now, back to here. We're trying to find a mechanism that will hold agencies accountable. Do you see these buzzwords? Agencies, accountable, mechanism. They're just crap words, actually. Mark Furry said in an interview, "I just want to make sure that we're picking the right one. I'm going to sit there and pick my ass. Hopefully it'll all just go away. Because we don't want to have anything where we might have to answer truthfully. Because if we answer truthfully, well, we're really in the shit. Really in the shit. All of it might start to come out. Guns, uniforms, badges, police cars, money, Brinks, lots of money, lots of other people getting money, girlfriend and witness protection. Oof. Mark Furry said his staff are negotiating with Ottawa to determine the best option, which would include a traditional federal public inquiry led by the independent commissioner. Of course, this has changed now, right? Since April 18th and 19th, shooting rampage in northern and central Nova Scotia, the federal and provincial governments have faced increasing pressure. You see, increasing pressure, what that means is people are pissed off. Pissed off. Yeah, no, Paul Malango did say that. People are pissed off, right? To call an inquiry into one of the worst, not one of, that is actually the worst mass killing in Canadian history. More deaths occurred that day in that 13-hour span than does in Nova Scotia for an entire year. Woot! Those calling for an inquiry, including opposition politicians, oh yum, they're all just owned anyway. But whatever, it sounds good. And the more than 30 Dalhousie University law professors. They liked some of my tweets apparently. Last month, the professor said Nova Scotia should establish an independent provincial inquiry. But Premier Stephen McNeil has said he wants Ottawa to lead the process. You know, they used to have that saying. What was it? Oh yeah, passing the buck. Oh, that's right. Stephen McNeil has family members that are RCMP. Wouldn't you know? What news, as East Coast would say. What news? So we have a lot of RCMP floating around here. RCMP, Attorney General, probably high school diploma. We have a Premier who is relatives who are RCMP. Oh, yeah, whatever. A thug force that works only for the federal government. So do you think they're going to fucking tell you the truth? No. The handbook that says that they can just lie to anybody, and they do, and they have in this case, and they're being sued for it. Ooh, problems. Quote, if it just becomes constituted primarily as a federal inquiry in which the government of Nova Scotia only plays a secondary role, it will be unduly narrow. What? Relating to only the federal agencies potentially involved. Professor Delvin said in an interview Wednesday. Quote, I think that the danger is that we will not get a comprehensive inquiry that this tragedy calls for. Again, the glasses, please. Intentional. Pie plate. That's why I always say pie plate, because they're covering their ass. Have been since 10:01 on the 18th. Some victims have also been calling for an inquiry. Really? Some? I haven't heard of one that's very satisfied, as Leather would say, very satisfied. Nobody is satisfied. Nobody, despite their lying. Of course, they're part of their handbook, right? So they're going to tell you. Many Canadians support us. Heidi Stevenson was a family member. So was my ex-wife, who my own force railroaded because she was wanting to speak up on the many women that got murdered unnecessarily because of the RCMP's negligence, and she was going to testify as an RCMP lady, the most high-profile woman in the media at that point in time for the RCMP, right? Catherine Galliford, Mr. Campbell's ex-wife. She was going to testify. And then she sued them for sexual abuse and started all of that stuff, where there's $200 million settlements, at least. And there's thousands sitting out there right now with the doctors and all this stuff. They're just slimy, raping women on their own force. That's really what you want to show your kids. This is good. Good. Lying, raping, covering up, obfuscating from responsibility, not apologizing, not making amends, not trying to do something different, sending members back to work, not investigating, not doing your job. Not doing your job. How about there's a good one for your kids. Here's what you do. You follow the RCMP because they don't do their job. They don't work. I wonder if I can say that one. I have it under fairly good authority that Mr. Wortman's uncle, one of the uncles, was removed from the RCMP. Do you know why he was removed? After 6 years, I think it was. Because he didn't investigate cases. He would do this. Probably went in the shredder, too. Just saying. Because you gotta have those good values. On Monday, the daughter of Heather O'Brien, a nurse who was killed by the gunman on April 19th, urged the federal and Nova Scotia governments to come together. In an open letter, Darcy Dobson said, quote, "The back and forth of who's responsible for the inquiry is unreal." Okay, and we know that Miss O'Brien's or Miss Dobson's or Mrs. Dobson's sister, Molly, watches. Okay, horrendous treatment of that family. Horrendous treatment of all of these families. You imagine the car? I don't want to be gruesome, but you have to be factual when you're saying things. Can you imagine if that was your mother who was returned to you? Pieces of her in her vehicle from the very police force that says they're deeply saddened. This is tragedy. They feel so much compassion for these families, but they can understand how they lost one of their own. Well, they had a funeral for her, but they returned cars like that. How about Joey Weber? Oh boy. I want to assure Miss Dobson and other family members we continue. We fuck around. We pick our ass. We pick our ass. We do nothing. We do zero. Smell. Real good. In regular discussions with the federal government, he said, but we absolutely have the right have to have the right mechanism. See, I love these stakeholders, mechanisms, fluid, dynamic, all the fucking environmental ones. Jesus Christ, the world is full of newspeak. Newspeak. Not a mechanism. A mechanism's on a tractor. A mechanism's on a tractor. Sure. Yes, you can find mechanism, obviously, as listed in a dictionary in that use, is that capacity. But it's really playing fucky games. You don't have to have a right mechanism. No, psychological warfare is psychological warfare. And we need terms of reference that are broad in scope. Mechanism, terms of reference that can address those questions and that the families and communities have, because we care about them. We return bodies in pieces. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. The minister, who was almost a former Mountie from the RCMP, with the RCMP, from the RCMP, with the RCMP, said the investigation could include an independent review similar to the one the RCMP conducted after 3 Mounties were killed and 2 others wounded by a gunman in Moncton in June 2014. And there was some justice meted out in that, but that internal investigation, led by a retired RCMP assistant commissioner, oh good, focused on the force's response, training, and equipment procedures. So this is why they all got the what was it, the C4 carbines, all of them now, run around. Hell, let's just buy bigger guns. Not that we don't have a fucking big problem that we're raping and that we're fucking up and we're returning bodies and we're lying, because none of those things are things that we need to address. We just need to get a bigger gun. We need more toys. We need more surveillance powers. We got to get some drones. I think maybe, possibly we got to go into everybody's Groupons, because that's going to help everybody. We need to monitor everybody's direct messages. Hell, if you use the dark web, we want to know that too. On all Canadians, every Canadian, your phone, your fucking cable TV, your GPS, your everything, your Amazon accounts, your credit card purchases. Oh, God, help me. Everybody's got skeletons in their closet. They're just banking them. That's why data's worth so much money. What is it? Top 5, 6 of the top 10 companies in the world? Data. I spoke about this years ago. YouTube banned a bunch of my videos on that. I did finally have 2 that were about Data Sciences Inc., Blue Sky, DNC, NGP van. I tied a whole shit pile of pieces together. And the algorithms, the AI stuff. You know how many views I got? 197. Why? Because my channel was already in the toilet. You get on the bad list. That's why this channel's still like that. You get on the bad list, you're never coming out. But that doesn't matter. I don't care, because that's just what they want people to do. I'll just give up. Fuck you, man. I've never given up in a fight in my life. Never. You better knock me out, because I'm going to keep standing. Maybe my brother Hitters is in there. Hitters knows that. Team Christian. I love that description he's got there. Team Christian. Hitters. And procedures. There were no public hearings. But the reviewer's final report was released to the public with recommendations. You know how many recommendations have been made about the RCMP? Do you know how many have been followed through? Do you know how many? That's right. Is it? 0. 0. How long ago were those made? I think that was 17 years ago. Wow. There's another good thing to show your kids. You're speedy and you do your stuff. And when somebody says to you, you did something wrong, you fix it. Oh, sorry. I'm living in a bizarre world. No, you don't do anything. You ignore it. You spend tons of money, and then you say things like, I want more guns and I want more toys. Because that's what is good for a kid, right? That's how you do things. No, you don't have to do any work. Yes, you can lie all the time. You're completely incompassionate to people. Uncompassionate or incompassionate to people. You don't give a shit about them at all. You use people as shields, use them, you manipulate people, you don't do any work, and when somebody points out to you that you have problems, raping, any of these things, raping, this is a good one. You know how many women have been raped in the RCMP? This is unbelievable. I was listening to one about a guy. He claimed that he was a undercover agent, and he needed her to come, and then he's like, oh, you know what? Well, I could only get one hotel room, and there's only one bed in it. And she wakes up, and he's doing not good things to her in the bed. And it was all a lie. And, well, he didn't get in trouble. Because it's like the Catholic Church with that one. Nothing on Catholics. Catholic Church has a problem. We all have problems, right? Catholic Church doesn't like to deal with that one. We'll just ship them off somewhere else, don't worry about it. So won't pay attention to that. Right? So that's what you show kids. This pretty bad morals. Put on the glasses. Oh, they're just making mistakes. They don't mean that. Oh, they're trying to get the right mechanisms in place. They're really trying to investigate. It only took 13 hours for them to investigate their family member's death. Beating up the natives. I mean, listen, I'm not saying that we all have problems in our communities. All of us. Native community has some issues. But they really have been fucking given the short end of the stick on a lot of this stuff. And the previous RCMP guy is up there. And again, this is like, oh yeah, fine. Yeah, we do. We have a racist police force. We have racism issues within our police force. You know what they do? Oh yeah, that's right. This one. They just beat up more people. The guy's already on an assault charge? Was that right? Or is that a different case I was reading? I think that was a different one. He's up for assault, but he's on another assault charge. And he's working. And he was doing perjury. Committed perjury too. Perjury, assault, prior, working as a police officer, and then getting charged with assault. Well, they just make some mistakes. They just didn't know. Who's Blair? I'll ask through. It's pretty cheap. Sorry? I better ask Blair just to be sure. Keep adding to the list. I don't know what we're talking about here, but I'm trying to follow sometimes what you guys say. Sorry. I'm sorry. I get going. You have to excuse me. I get passionate, That's not a replacement for a public inquiry. There's no confidence in the public that would be independent, that it would be independent. There's no confidence in the public that it will be impartial. There's no confidence in the public that it would be transparent. Well, these words, let's see, impartial, transparent, those are words the RCMP like to use. They like to throw those ones out. A glass of water is transparent. What you do is you fuck around. That's what you do. I smell bullshit. These clowns. Professor Delvin said there are important broader issues to examine, including the role of intimate partner violence. Why don't we get to what truly was going on before we start jumping to conclusions. I think that's better on that one. Because the girlfriend certainly doesn't act like somebody who's intimately, non-consensually a victim of violence. I think he might be into some funny stuff, some things that maybe some other people might not be into. She might be into that too. Remember, they stayed together for a long time. And what was it? Oh, yes. The GoFundMe? The best friend put up a GoFundMe. Did you guys see that? There was a GoFundMe for LB. That disappeared. She was going on about the partner violence and stuff. But it disappeared. Do you know how hard it is to find stuff on LB? There's not a lot about her. I mean, I have a few things. I know more from other people than I do from the internet. And I'm not too bad at digging on the internet. Kind of what I do. Not a lot there. Strange. Here's my man. Here's Team Christian. One day, buddy, I'm going to come down there. Just don't be kicking my ass. I think we're on the same team. Team Christian. Those damn Christians. Who says that? Oh, yeah. I won't get into that one. Might be the same clowns. Anyways, the Mounties have confirmed that the killer attacked his common-law partner before he started killing people he knew and others at a random night on April 18th. Other witnesses have come forward to say they knew about the shooter's history of domestic abuse. Strange, most of the domestic abuse cases I've read about that involve murder, usually the partner that's being abused gets murdered. She crawled over a bunch of guns. Funny that. Didn't freeze. Funny that. White Mercedes. GPS records. Funny that. I think there's increasing consensus that the challenge here is much larger than the RCMP. Really? Professor Devlin said. We should not be thinking about narrowing our focus. That would be a disservice to the people of Nova Scotia. Well, I think the disservice to the Nova Scotia, the disservice probably to Canada, if I might be so bold, but that would be the RCMP. Sorry about their luck. You can fuck up a few times, but you fuck up too many times, well, then you're just not good. Even the person who I knew who defended police tooth and nail. I could never say anything negative about police. I used to have some views on certain things to do with police a long time ago, which I won't get into. But anyway, certain police, and I couldn't even say one word edgewise. This is because the person worked for the police. They defend them all over the place, even when it was totally wrong. But funnily enough, they were quite open about how corrupt and immoral, illegal the RCMP were at the very top, which is a gigantic bureaucratic mess. It's not like one or two or, like lots. And they're like, no, very bad. very, very bad. These people are bureaucrats. They're not generally, on the ground police officers who've done anything. They just sit behind a desk. They get orders from their government, who's just getting orders from other people. Yeah. Anyway, I would really like to hear the minister use the language of a public inquiry and not some vague terms like such as instrument or mechanism. Do you see? I haven't read this article before. I have not read this article before. And what was I talking about? The fucking newspeak and the psychological warfare with terms such as mechanism. I even cited it. Right? Look at it. And they're saying the same thing. It's absolute bollocks. Bollocks. That's a real word. You know what bollocks are? Well, they're bollocks. That has no sort of precedent history. No real sort of precedent history. Because, of course, because they're just going to invent it as it goes. Mr. Furry, what was it again? Do we have the pictures of the furries? I like the furries. Let's see. Furry fetish. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, sorry. It's not spelled the same way. I'm sorry. I made a mistake, Mr. Furry. Furry. What is it? Mr. Furry said he would like the investigation to take a restorative approach. Here we go. Here's another one. There you go. Restorative approach. More garbage. You just need the garbage, right? You can just take the words and you're like, no, sorry. Back to high school. Back to high school? Perhaps you can learn English like the rest of us. Which is what the province did in 2015 when it looked into allegations of long-term abuse at a former orphanage in the Halifax area. This stuff is just wrong. All of this pedo is rampant. That's no tinfoily. Nova Scotia, the home for the colored children restorative inquiry was not a provincial inquiry in the traditional sense. More garbage. Though it was established under the authority of the province's Public Inquiries Act. So basically, it's Mark Furry bullshit. It's collaborative approach featured sharing circles. Oh, yeah, okay. With former residents, Black youth, and community organizations. Sharing circles are something part of the Indigenous community, and it's kind of a new way of trying to do justice. It has some benefits, but by and large, this is more part of the trash at the top, trying to fuck up your society by saying, well, you're not a bad person just because you raped that kid. It's okay. We can just share it. Yeah. With former residents, Black youth, and community organizations. Instead of providing a list of recommendations, the inquiry's final report offered, here we go. Here's another one. A road map. You like that one? I like that one. Road map. No, road map is what I use when I travel down roads, when I want to go somewhere. Not newspeak garbage. No, sorry. For breaking down what it described as the government's fragmented approach. Yeah, more garbage. More psychological warfare bullshit. I believe there's an opportunity for some kind of restorative lens. Do you like this? That facilitates participation. Participation, that was a program for exercise. Or that's actually like doing something, participating in something. These people participate in zip, and get families and communities the engagement that they need and the answers they need. The engagement? Is that his former employer? Remember that former employer? RCMP? Probably still kind of really current employer. Seems a bit culty. But there are some really good ones that come out. The one guy in Colchester, very good. I like him. I'd love to do an interview with him. Maybe if God's kind and this man doesn't judge me quickly. Engagement. Is that the kind of engagement that his former employer is giving families right now? As in the form letters, copy paste letters, telling them, "Oh yes, we'll have it today." Oh, sorry. Oh, well, it'll be on Monday. It's just the CBC's fault because you know what? We have such an extensive interview that they're doing. They're going to go off and what was it they said? Let's see if I can read that. See, because I get your garbage, RCMP. So even though maybe only a few people see it in that immediate circle, lots more see it here. And it doesn't look very good on you. Oops. Let's see what this one. We could go with. How about this one? We'll start with this one. Oh, it sounds very good. We're going to, as I told you earlier, I'm going to try and give you a heads up when I know something is coming out of the news and what the content will be. Everybody got that. Sounds very personal, though. There's a lot of personal bullshit. Some topics that will be discussed, COVID and blah, blah, whatever. Some more nonsense. Okay, so, and then let's go to the next one. It'll be, does it say? Sorry. As always with the media and interview, I can't tell you what and when, or what and won't be aired. So Superintendent Campbell told me the interview, like I'm sure he spoke to him, was probably longer than the reporter expected. Oh, here we go. Mention of how long it is. So it may not be on the news tonight as per the reporter, and maybe tomorrow. Okay, that was, let's see, June 24th. So that was the, 1 month. That was on the Wednesday. I do recall doing a stream that night, trying to, is it bad if I get excited? Bush baby, what's going on? It's a thermal racism. Do you guys recall sitting around for hours? Now, I didn't lose a loved one, so I wouldn't be sitting on the edge of my seat wondering what the fuck is going on. Is that goddamn thing going to be on? Quit playing stuff about lobsters and bullshit. Can you tell me about my loved one, please? Because you haven't told me anything. No. Okay, so that was Wednesday. Then we go forward, and let's see, this one What date are we on now? Now we're 2 days later. So that's a Friday. Just had an update. We learned that the CBC interview isn't going to be aired until this Monday. So, of course, I didn't actually do a stream on the Thursday. Funnily enough, for some reason, I don't know why, which is horrible on my part, but it actually slipped my mind until a little bit later. And then I'm like looking around and I'm like, well, I didn't miss anything. And then I'm like, of course. Come on, Seamus. Put the glasses on. Remember who you're dealing with here. Scripts. As Leather does this. Leather's funny to watch. He's having like a full-on grand mal reading his script. Which was horrible of me that this had slipped my mind. But of course, I have lots of things going on in my mind. But I didn't miss anything. But you know what? I bet you there were family members sitting around on Thursday, waiting to look at that interview. When did the email come? Oh, what time was that? Okay, so that's in the... I think this is evening time. So probably... it may have been early afternoon. I don't want to say for sure. I have asked our communications people if they are able to obtain a time when this interview / story. Interesting words. You remember that these things are written in a war room with lawyers and a fucking gigantic PR firm. And I'm not using hyperbole. I'm not screwing around. I'm literally meaning a PR firm. They have their own in-house, but I would guarantee you that they have hired out to probably the best that they can find to try and do damage control, and that was on right away. Probably, not probably right away, but fairly early on. Because as soon as this stuff started to hit the fan, they're like, oh. Then you get the fake emergency alerts and all this other stuff. What time this interview story will be released, I will, if provided, I will make sure to let you all know about it. Okay, now, of course, you didn't let anybody know. And then Monday came around, and we had nothing. When was the article released? Campbell, COVID, of course, COVID, Wortman, yeah, here we go. The one place that does the article. Elizabeth McMillan. Now, Paul Palango touts Elizabeth McMillan. I'm not going to judge her. I won't, because I have to give it. Fucking don't even talk to me about Weimar. Okay, Elizabeth McMillan. But Elizabeth McMillan also, so this is June 29. So what day was that? So that's the Monday. So Monday, 5 in the morning, instead of doing the lengthy interview, which it even refers to in here, the lengthy interview, and of course you got the snippets of everything that was discussed, I'm sure, like even the little segments, sound bites and everything the news likes to stick in there. I haven't found any. Maybe I'm not looking. Maybe I missed it. Well, I have been looking, but maybe I missed it. There aren't any. So what they did again is this written bullshit. See, because if you write it down and you have your state broadcaster put it out as news, well, you've covered yourself legally and your PR firm has totally controlled the narrative. Very important for them. Very important. So, of course, you get all the garbage thrown in here. Oh, yes, because of COVID-19 fears. Yeah, you're right. That's why he was, what was that? Oh, right. He was engaging in new business. I guess they forgot about that email. Oops. Because he was so paranoid that he was going to lose everything, that he was going to go out and buy new stuff. Enter into new business ventures. Okay, then we got the replica cruiser. There we go with this bullshit, more bullshit. Tribute to fallen soldiers. Right. Because your same thing says, oh, he hates officers. He hates police. He issued threats against them. Well, now he's full on retard. He's actually hates police, but he wants to have a cruiser so that he can dedicate it to the people that he hates. Yeah. That makes sense. Even in the first little bit there, it's just lie, la lie, la lie, la lie. See, you can put that under there. You can see the little smirk. Okay? But this is the guy that has no problem with his wife absolutely getting torpedoed, railroaded, destroyed by the very organization he works for. Because he's fucking awesome. Because, well, my opinion is he's a very, very very bad man. Because good humans don't act this way. If somebody said to them, listen, you go and you snow people, you tell them bullshit, you lie to them, you fuck over families, you do all these things, a really good human being is going to be like, you can go fuck yourself? How's that? Well, you might lose your job. Well, I don't think so. Because if you want to do that, well, I'll consult my code, my RCMP code handbook. We'll see how that works. And then I'm going to sue the shit out of you. Oh, well, okay. You mean you hit back? You mean you speak up? Yeah. Oh. But no, he'll watch his wife get tanked. But Elizabeth McMillan, I've shown that before. I found this shocking. But of course, this is CBC we're talking about. Who owns CBC? With that, you can do it right here. CBC, RCMP, CBC, RCMP, CBC, RCMP. They kind of look almost the same. Almost? Kind of. Elizabeth McMillan. This one's freaky, man. Doodaloo, doodaloo, doo, doo, doo. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about RCMP. I archive this too. Try and archive everything. Now, we go down here. Shown this, but it's important. Please show your friends, because it's good to know these kinds of things, because these things happen all the time with the media. The media is very, very controlled, and it's not just the CBC. No. CTV didn't air those interviews with the witnesses. Did you see those? No. Global, I like how they scrub out how Wortman got out. It kind of just jumps from how he leaves or how he's down in Portapic. Suddenly he's up in Debert because there was a bit of a technical problem. You know, like CBC interview with Clinton. Did I blow out your ears? Sorry, DC. They all do it. They all do it because they're owned. They're owned from the same people that own the government of the world. Doesn't matter what party. I really hope people put those glasses on too. They see that? Doesn't matter. It's all the same. But I digress. That is what I will get to, because that is my true calling when all this stuff is done. But I have to help my friends now and do the right thing. I have to do the right thing. Now, at least, let's see here. At least one officer was already there to fill up on gas, recognized Wortman, and fatally shot him at the service station in Enfield. Service area. Right? There we go. Okay. That's actually, what is that? 76 or some nonsense. Down in the United States. Now we have a citation. Seamus is kind of nutty that way. He likes to read citations. This is the way I learn essays and bibliographies and all that good stuff. Proofs. Now we go to CBC News because it should be talking about, when it's a citation, that means that it should mention filling up on gas at the station. Well, let's see. Control find. Fill. Oh, Bing. Doesn't work. Now, who wrote this article? Oh, that's right. That's Elizabeth McMillan. Well, that doesn't look great, but maybe it's just because they got the article wrong, right? See, was it revised? Let's have a look at that. That's usually they've gotten kind of sneaky with this one too, how they don't like to tell people anymore that they're revising articles, but some of them still do. So we go up here and we'll look and we'll see what. Oh, posted April 23rd at 7:30. Oh, it was last updated. Okay, so we know details in this article have changed. Have they changed for the better? Apparently not, because the little pink box here is saying something's missing. Now, maybe it's just nothing, right? Maybe it's just that they added something else, or they added a new fancy photo or some bullshit, right? Let's go to archive.is. Okay. Archive.is. Love to archive. I love to archive. Now, we'll just take this little piece here and we'll do this. Search the archive for snapshots. Do a little paste there. And we'll look. Oh, funny that. Here's an article. Same one, right? Let's see here. Last updated 32 minutes ago. So it was updated again before it was archived. Because you got to be really speedy. They get all over this. I busted CBC so bad once. It was like terrible. And it made news when I did. With the Abdi stuff down in Toronto. Anyway. Oh, here we go. Elizabeth McMillan is now working with somebody else on this. Oh, yeah, she's there too. Kyla. Now, let's look for fill, right? Because that was what we were looking for. Fill up. Okay, let's just see. Let's just see. Because I'm probably just wrong, right? Oh, that's strange. There it is right there. When the gunman pulled up to the Irving Big Stop gas station to fill up, emergency response team police officers and a canine officer were already there refueling an unmarked vehicle. It was one of those officers who shot the gunman, according to sources. Does it look like that then? No. It would look like one vehicle. One, as that wonderful man said. Where is he? Here he is. One tactical unit does not equal this. Does not equal all those other pictures that you saw. The guns leaning over things and the signs down. And you know who picked up on that right away? I'll tell you who picked up on it right away. Hitters. He texts me and he's like, why are all the signs down? And I was like, I don't know. It seems insignificant to me. But I filed it away because I don't like to be dismissive. Sure enough, he's absolutely right. Because if you use the logic, you know one tactical unit doesn't equal this. One tactical unit doesn't equal all the people sitting there with the fucking guns over when the color scheme isn't quite right and they're not all green and you've got a blue in there. Well, you take the blue out, you put another green in. Oh, then you're going to get them on the roof and then you get some more fucking photos like that. Oh, but this article had it. Now, why would you take that detail out? The filling up. Why would you take that out? Is it that the CBC, who does the article here, right? The CBC. CBC say Nova Scotia gunmen liquidated assets, stockpiled gas and food due to COVID fears. CBC says. You see? And just interchangeable. Because they have the same boss, which isn't you, isn't a taxpayer in this country. Has nothing to do with that. Oh, it's much bigger. Much bigger. And this article, of course, was just bullshit, by and large. We're investigating, we're looking, we're doing something, we don't know anything, we're not going to tell you anything, we're not going to address how he got into the Brinks, we're not going to talk about that. Oh, we found $100 bill. Oh, his financial interests were totaled. He was worried about everything. That's why he was entering into new business deals. I mean, all kinds of wonderful garbage. No, that's what, I'd just be sitting there. I mean, I think it would become very infuriating for somebody like a Mark Furry or a Campbell or a Lucky or Bremen or Leather to sit across from me and try to spin with me because it wouldn't work very well. Seamus kind of has a bit of a nose for the bullshit stuff, the bullshit. Anyway, I do thank you very much for joining me tonight. I do apologize about the video. I don't know what that's about. I'm familiar with how to make videos, and it was mixed fine, so I can go back and try and remix it again. But if you haven't checked it out, please do. It was a great interview. I guess you're just going to have to turn up the volume a little bit. There is a little bit of echo stuff, and I did make one mistake in the video, which I put in the chat. I misspoke because I was thinking whatever, and I said there's only one interview that the RCMP ran solely. I don't even know. I think they did run it solely, the Halifax Regional Police. So thanks everybody, sister. Good news. DC, great stuff. I hope my man hitters may be still here. I don't know. Jesus Christ, it's late down there. Sorry for taking your name in vain, God. But I know you know my heart's in the right place. Bush baby, all you good folks, and all of the great folks over on the Discord. Again, please, I implore you, come be part of our team. Come and join the Smurf or two that's in there. Sniff them out. They're pretty interesting cats. You can toy with them a little bit. You can play like the cat, while they spin there. And any information, please, I really do implore you to do the right thing. You know what that is. Inside, you can feel it. It's actually like a literal feeling in your gut, right? And to me, it's the voice of God. It's God. God talks, and he talks really loud. You just need to listen and honor it, because he's a pretty good guy, and he wants the best for us. And he doesn't want, clowns like this individual or his friends, or worse yet, his bosses and his boss's bosses, the real trash, but they're all in the same boat, running this. So be good to one another. Take care. God bless. And thanks very much for joining me. We'll see you again soon.